Stuart, obviously massive match this weekend. How are you feeling going into it?
I always feel confident, I always feel focused, I always feel driven. I've never been any other way. So it probably answers the question. I know you guys will sit in here and everybody starts talking about it being such an important game, a mammoth game, but I genuinely don't put any more importance on it than I have done any other one at this point. We know as we chalk off games, then, that wee bit of trepidation, that sometimes in people there can be a little bit of fear, a bit of anxiety, a bit of nervous energy. My job's to try and ensure that that's not the case, that we try and perform to the best of our ability. As difficult a game as it's going to be, and they all are in this division, I tend to spin it on its head. I tend to flip it around, and when you realise there's so much to play for and there's so much at stake, those tend to be the games that I personally look forward to more than any. I think at times if it's a dead rubber and there's not much happening in the league table, we would love the game to be of significance at the top end. It's not. We are where we are, and we have to own that. We have to accept that, but we also have to try and come out the other side of it.
Are you pleased with the response you've seen from the players since last Friday night?
Yes, I am. I think we've worked hard this week. Everything's been centred upon this game, as well as some specific points that we want to try and get better at as a team. But I think when you look at the game on Friday, I think again, similar to Dunfermline, when we started like a house on fire. I think we started really well, scored a good goal, looked really competent in our work and what we're going to do. And I think the message is, and again, there's no easy fix to this. The message is those individual errors, those kind of marginal gains. I think the first goal probably that we concede is the best example of that. We've looked at that again. Yeah, there's elements that we can do better defensively, but I tend to again look at the positive side and say it's a brilliant opportunity for us to go and score a goal when we don't come close to capitalising on that. And those are situations that are going to change games of football, no doubt about it. You could see that off the back of the first goal. I think Partick Thistle then get their tails up. It leads to a couple of other errors from our side of things, and it's trying to take out. We don't want to be safe. But we want to be efficient, we want to make good decisions at the right times, and I think that's probably been something that's littered the entire season, to tell you the truth. I feel at times we've probably eradicated that and it has become better, but you still do see in games where some of those decisions we know that and we understand that individuals can do far better, and most importantly, the players acknowledge that themselves. They're at a point where they hold their hands up, but that's the bit that's not okay. It's about trying to rectify that and in order to go and try and achieve 3 points, and that's all we can focus on at this point, not the remaining games. We just have to try and focus on getting 3 points this weekend.
I know obviously it didn't work out last Friday when you scored first, but do you think scoring, conceding first over these next 5 games could be crucial for not only yourselves but the teams around about you as well?
Yeah, I think that's where it was a wee bit bizarre, because I think we probably all do look, and there's not loads of chances in the games. I keep saying that. I look around the division, you look at the statistics in the game, there aren't heaps of chances in most of the games. They're tight affairs because the teams are relatively well matched. I kind of felt that was a little bit similar the other night. I think probably Partick Thistle scored for a couple of scenarios that aren't opportunities, if you like. A miss-hit cross off the frame of the goal, a possible counter-attacking opportunity for ourselves, and us being in safe possession, real safe possession. Those aren't moments that they've created or carved out. Those are situations that are definitely avoidable, and I think if teams were completely outplaying us and creating chance after chance and peppering our goal, then there would be a whole lot of concern. There's concern that we lose goal in the situation, no doubt about it. I'm not trying to paper over that. However, I think again it's another situation where you show that you indicate that the teams are fairly well matched. There's been several games where we've come out on the right side of it, of those few chances. And again, if that's what it's to be this weekend, where there's little in the way of real clear-cut opportunities, we have to make sure that our concentration levels stay high, and that when those chances come, that we get on the right side of them. Probably feel as if we've created a little bit more, certainly in the Dunfermline game. So again, that was our last home game, so that's something that we're going to try and work towards. And a lot of those aspects, and scoring a couple of goals and creating the chances we do, we're going to have to try and replicate that as well.
Just on Airdrie then, what are you expecting from them?
Yeah, I think they're a good side. I think that they will come here and have a go. I don't think there's any question that they'll sit in and try and see if they can snatch a point or anything like that. I think they'll come here and have a go, and I think when you look at Dunfermline game here a couple of weeks back, I think when you watched that, by the end of the game, I think it was just two teams going ham on tom, both teams trying to win a game of football. I think it was pretty good entertainment, to be honest with you. It must have been for the neutral. And envisage a similar type of game, to be honest with you, when there is so much at stake and both teams are desperate for points. Then I think sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen to you is not going to be a solution to try and get the win. So I would imagine, I know how I'm going to try and set up a team, and we're going to ask our team to go front foot and go and try and attack and cause problems for Airdrie, but I'm pretty sure that they'll be doing the same.
Noticed that Uche came off in the first half. Is there any update on him or any other team news?
Yeah, Uche obviously came off after 20 odd minutes. He's had a scan. It doesn't look as if there's anything major there, but he's not trained since then, so we'll need to get a look at him today. Jaden Carbon's got a groin complaint, so again there'll need to be a check on him. And Dean Cornelius looks as if he's got a pretty bad back spasm as well, so those three will need checked on. I'm not ruling any of them out at this stage, but I would suggest the fact that they're feeling that, then it makes them a doubt for the game on Saturday.
That's all for me. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
From what you're saying, this is a game where both teams really look as if they need to come out and have a go.
Yeah, that's it. I think everybody would be disappointed. I'd be disappointed sitting here at 5 o'clock on Saturday saying that my team didn't have a go, given the circumstances, and I'm pretty sure that they'll be the same. So you hope that it makes for a good game of football, but again, at this point in time, the good game of football isn't our priority. The points and trying to get a clean sheet and trying to make sure that we score more than the opposition is of paramount importance.
Is there any reassurance in the fact that your last 5 games are from the rest of the bottom 6 in the table?
No, because I think they're all difficult games, and I know that's the political thing to say, but I think they are all difficult games. But I did sit here a couple of weeks ago and say it was a tough run. I think we played the top 4, and 3 of those were on the road and away from home. I've not had a lot of home games since I've been here. The vast majority have been away games, so trying to capitalise on opportunities at home is definitely a thing. But you could also argue that the importance of the clubs that are in the bottom half, and there's still so much to play for all the clubs, still makes it a difficult challenge. So as I always do, I focus on the next opponent. I don't try and get too carried away with, is it top half, bottom half, or is there a mixture, home or away? We just need to go and try and show our best version, because I've seen several times, like you guys have, when we've done that or we've got close to it, then we look like we can win games of football. When we come off it, we make it incredibly difficult for ourselves.
Next team above you, United, 7 points above plus goal difference. How big an ask is it to catch that in these last 5 games?
That's not something I'm looking at, to be honest with you. It's 7 points. 7 points means that for you even consider catching that team would need to be 3 games of football. We know that you would be relying on results which haven't went our way, and again, that's not me complaining. Recently results probably have went against us, but you can only control what you can do. If you're winning games, then you give yourself every chance. So talking about the likes of United or anybody else other than Airdrie, I think would be really naive for me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We talked a lot about mental strength, mentality in games, but also just generally approaching the situation. You've been working with the guys for a few months now. How confident are you that they're up to the fight? Yeah,
I see that. I see real disappointment on Friday. After the game, I seen it. It hurt the players. The result hurt the players. Taking the lead and losing that lead hurt the players. It did here against Dunfermline, taking the lead and losing that lead. So if I seen guys that were, getting showered and thrown on their tracksuit and getting themselves up the road that didn't look as if it meant something to, I'd be seriously concerned. But in the staff and the players here, I do see care. I know a lot of people will sit and throw those words back at you and tell you that somebody misplaced a pass or maybe didn't have the right body language for a stage of the game or whatever through disappointment, and say that they don't care. They absolutely do care, and that's that. Listen, I think you guys know I'm positive. I'm always positive. I'm always up for the challenge. I'm always up for the fight. But I also believe that in the players. That's not necessarily something that I need to install in them, because I've seen elements of that. There have been nips when you want to see a better reaction. There have been nips when you want to see a better body language. But we also have to realise you're dealing with human beings that at this minute in time probably aren't feeling the greatest about themselves, given the season that there's been, that's what's went before you. But I always still think that every minute every minute run about here at the football club, every minute in a game, every minute in a training session is a chance to impress and a chance to show people that you're a good person and that you're a good football player and that you can impact this. And if you start to feel sorry for yourself, you're not going to be any use to me, the football club, or yourself. You're not doing yourself justice. So that becomes a basic approach for me week to week, irrespective of what the results been at the weekend. We don't stop. We have to get ourselves back in the horse. We have to go again, and we have to look forward to what will be a challenge on Saturday, which will be, there will be pressure, there will be apprehension from certain quarters, but I'll stress it again, those are the types of games that I love to be involved in, and our job between now and Saturday to 3 o'clock is to make sure that we're building up to that, not getting too carried away and using up valuable energy, but preparing and having a clear mind going into the game.
Has it ended up being a bigger challenge for you than you expected when you first came back?
No, not for a second. Again, I'd say I think if you've won 2 games all season, it's been several months since you've won a game, and you're 5 points adrift at the bottom of the table, I think you're pretty certain it's going to be a difficult task. But I was always up for the challenge. I was always looking forward to the challenge, and I have poured my heart and soul into it. To this point, so is everybody else. Sometimes you don't get the quality or the end result that you want, but I believe in continuing to do that, because I do believe you'll get your just rewards eventually at some point, and sometimes you need something just to break in your favour, something just to go your way, which generates that wee bit of confidence, which generates a better feeling, and then when you do, you just never know where it can take you.
How big will it be for the fans to get right behind you this weekend, Stuart, given the wee margins can make all the difference?
Yeah, I'm so clear on this one, Alistair. It's not my job to sit here and tell supporters to get behind us and to start cheering us and, come on, let's... I was at a ground one time, it's a short story, I was at a ground one time and the announcer's telling the fans that they've got to start cheering the players and get up on their feet and, create the atmosphere. We create the atmosphere, us as players. If we do something well, that makes the supporters get behind you, it gets people on your side. I'm always a huge believer. Probably one of the things individually I always felt that if I run my hardest and I fly into some tackles, that's going to spark something into life. It's going to spark me into life, it's going to spark the supporters into life, might create a chance, might get us in the front foot. So I always believe it's the players that do it. I don't believe it's the supporters. That's not detracting for the supporters in any way, shape or form, but I think we sometimes focus and think that they should just do that without getting any application or effort or energy or whatever, or any quality. We need to do something for it. We absolutely need to do something for it. There's been a lot of talk this week about the modern game, hasn't there, and Scotland losing a couple of games and some boos and some jeers and stuff like that, and I probably just echo what everybody says now. I can't believe sometimes how much that side of the game's changed. So much it is knee-jerk, so much it's just spur of the moment, 5 seconds, and people have sat and watched games with friends and family, and you sit there and you're laughing because that emotion takes over in 10 seconds. The next minute that player's a really good player. That's where we can't get lost in any of that. The players can't be affected if they've had a bad minute in a game or made a mistake in a game. You have to drive yourself, you have to trust and rely on your teammates to get around you, if that's the case. But from our side, we've started the last 2 games really well, and I think if we started like that, Alistair, I've no doubt in my mind that this place will be right behind us on Saturday.
Stuart, could I just check Richie's injury?
He's feeling something, and you're asking the wrong person here to start giving you the muscle or the body part, but it's kind of groin, hip flexor type area is what he's feeling. So obviously it was enough for him to come off the pitch. He is feeling an awful lot better. We have had that scan, which has been positive. So we just need to really wait and see whether we can get him on the pitch today and tomorrow.
He's been doing well for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does well. We know what Uche brings to the team. He'll make the ball stick. He'll get us up the pitch. He'll play as a good foil. He's obviously managed to pitch in with a couple of goals. And all the while, really, since we brought him in tail end of January, there's been a big drive to get him match fit as well, because he missed a lot of football over a long period of time. So we're hoping that this isn't something that derails from what he's been showing us in recent weeks. Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your day.